it's time for you to hand us command. And that is the backdoor way for charter schools to be introduced into a system. During that process, well, as Dr. Shaw was alluding to, they allowed teachers to be hired without certifications. And I don't know about you, but I want somebody that has a certified teaching certificate in math and English to teach my student. I don't want somebody that the charter system is going to bring because they're going to hire them because they're not a teacher or because they're cheaper to teach my kids. I want my kids to be competitive global citizens that can compete in a global economy. Our charter system will not allow that. The charter system also does not have sports. I want, if my kids are going to be competing in sports and things, they're going to end up coming back to EPISD anyway. Nobody has thought about that. So when it comes back to this initiative of innovation, it is a racket. It is purposely set up so that EPISD defaults, and that we introduce a charter school system in a backdoor way. Charter schools do not have any more accountability. They add another layer of red tape for a community that is already struggling, having to reach our leaders in the county or in the city. We can't have any more of that. We need more transparency. We have a public trust issue. A charter school system does not allow for public trust. It allows for the management of a select few to have control over the rest of us and our students and our academics and our policies.
Thank you. Next question is, EPISD faces financial problems due to declining enrollment, charter school inroads, and reckless decisions around salaries. For example, $1,500 a day consultants, superintendents earning a salary nearly equivalent to the U.S. president, etc. School closures face wrath from parents, treated like enemies rather than consulted. For example, the Bell school parents. The state may impose a 2.5% cap on increases by demanding tax ratification elections. How do you propose to deal with EPISD's financial problems?
The EPISD problem is largely a math problem. The superintendent and administration have salaries that equal almost $1 million, where the rest of us are stuck with a median household income of around $35,000. That is incongruent with El Paso. I personally think that we need to have leadership that has congruent values. But beyond that, this is the number one issue that is plaguing us right now, and it is the bond issue. This is the problem. Have any of you guys received any of the things that were promised in the bond? No, we have not. The first thing that we must review are two things. The architects that are each managing each bond project, and the firm that we hired to do the project management, we are already paying $2 million incrementally to. We need to review that. If I were to be elected, that is one of the first things that I would audit. Make sure, how come we are still paying this project manager and we are not getting any projects? If it's not working out for us, we need to terminate that and save up to $10 million and reinject that back into academics. In terms of salaries, in terms of the misspending, one thing that also needs to be looked at is the fact that we are not doing anything to create suppliers or a way to allow local economy to benefit from EPISD. What do I mean by that? The bonding capacity for a lot of people, for a lot of businesses, is set so far above that nobody from El Paso is able to bid on that. We are forced to hire out-of-town entities that are basically hiring more than $500 per day. Some of these entities we are paying them up to $1,200 per day. That simply cannot be. That is not financial responsibility. It is not fiscal administration. That is one of the ways through that audit and through the review of the bidding process and an overhaul of the way that the bond is currently being managed will allow immediate savings. In the long term, we need a transformational change. We need to make sure that it is not so top heavy. We cannot be having people doing too many jobs or doing the same job twice. Lastly, in terms of the bond, I will say the 2007 bond was handled in-house. It was handled in-house by the 8 architects and engineers. This time around, for the 2016, for the $500 million bond, we decided to hire not one, but 2 different sets of eyes or consultants to oversee the bond. That leaves me thinking, what are the people that already have salaries, that already have these jobs at EPISD doing? So I intend to audit, I intend to review the construction project management system that we have right now, and if it is not working, I intend to save $8 to $10 million by reneging that contract.
Thank you. Go for it. And my daughter said, damn. EPIS, over more than a decade, EPISD exhibited dishonesty about corruption, stemming in part from lack of trustee oversight and leading to gubernatorial political appointees in charge of the board. This has been a source of shame and embarrassment for our community. Thanks. This has been a source of shame and embarrassment for our community. In recent months and current news, even today, allegations have been made about residents outside the district and past work experience being questioned. My next question is about integrity. Among keywords for our elected representatives, we want trustworthy, ethical, and accessible people making decisions on our behalf. What claims and behaviors do you bring to the candidacy that could become sources of pride and or embarrassment and shame in the future? We need to know these things now before the media find out. The question is, what claims and behavior, I've outlined, right, the shame, the embarrassment, the corruption. So what claims and behaviors do you bring to this candidacy? And also, what pride do you bring to this candidacy that could become sources of embarrassment or shame or pride in the future? Lay it out now before we find out later from the media.
I am proud to stand here as a proud El Pasoan and a proud product of the EPISD system. I am proud to be the son of 2 immigrants. I am proud to be the son of a refugee. I am proud to have family members and friends that are part of the LGBT community. I am proud to bring all these things that I consider to be important to myself, part of my values, into the way I'm thinking about doing things at EPISD. It's not just a matter of doing. For example, there's been claims about me not living in the district. There's been claims about me not being Mexican enough, that I'm appropriating the last name. Yo soy hispano, yo soy latino, yo crecí hablando español con mi mamá. I mean, this is my culture. I am the only one of my candidates who is bilingual, who is more representative of this community than anybody else. I am proud of the fact that I grew up in the system. I know the system. I know the fact. For example, one of the things that I'm very, very, very adamant about is that we need to be offering options for all of our students. We need to be making sure that our kids are not just competing to get into colleges, but they're able to get into the military and do it proudly, that they are being able to go to trades and do it proudly. At my high school, Franklin High School, we have a wood shop, we have a garage, we have all these trade classrooms that are empty. We're not giving these kids enough chances. So I bring a special relationship with my district because I'm a part of it. I'm a part of my community. You know, as I'm talking to the people in my district, I'm learning that my values are their values. I don't have an option to fail. I have kids in the district. If I were to fail, or if I were to leave, but one of my opponents keeps on saying that I'm using this as a stepping stone for another thing. Well, I think EPISD should be a stepping stone. It should be a stepping stone to creating global citizens that are competitive, that are able to get the best jobs, that are able to go anywhere, or come back and have a stable salary, provide for their families. I'm proud to be part of that community. And I cannot fail, because if I were to fail my own children, I'm failing all of your children. And that simply cannot be. There's also been claims about me as far as my marriage, and there's been claims about me as far as my ethnicity. I am Middle Eastern. I'm proud to be a Middle Eastern person. I'm proud of the fact that I'm somewhat of a refugee. I think that I bring a source of empathy for students and for teachers. I bring a sense of pride of being from El Paso that is only going to motivate me to make sure that my kids feel the same way. I would say, is that the last question, Dr. Stepp? I just want to say that I want to thank you all for letting me be here, first of all. It is a pleasure.
Yeah, actually you have a minute,
okay.
If you want to go into your final minute.
Sure. I'm gonna go into it, and I want to thank you again. I want to point out the fact that one of my opponents is going to talk to you about that his only qualification is that he's a teacher, and that because he's a teacher, he should be on the board, and that because he's a teacher, I'm not qualified to do things. And while I respect that, I want to empower teachers. I have a financial plan. I come here with solutions to empower teachers, not to micromanage them. I want to empower teachers to take care of our children. Another one of my opponents, by his very own admission, was part of the bond selection committee and secured almost nothing for Franklin. I've talked to my constituents. I understand what the needs are, and I'm putting in the work necessary, not just to understand what my constituents need, but what all EPISD needs to make sure that we are much better than we are now, because we cannot stay this way. We cannot. We have no choice. The only choice is love. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.